that you want to be an elephant when you come back to life. I think that's a pretty good call. There's not that much to be scared of out here if you're an elephant. It's unlikely you're going to be hunted by a lion. And it's a relatively peaceful, but also very, especially if you're a female elephant, a very family-driven existence. It's very social. You've always got the company of other elephants around you, looking after you when you're little. I think it's a very good animal to come back as. And you can just spend your life strolling. Admittedly, you will have to... You see, when you start looking for a cheetah, everything becomes a cheetah. Admittedly, you will have to spend a good portion of your life eating. In fact, pretty much your whole of your day is going to be taken up with eating. It's just a warthog, Jamie. It's just a warthog. It's the perfect time to be searching for her. I keep saying her, I don't know if it's a male or a female. And it's the perfect time to be on the search for a cheetah because they're going to start waking up now. As you've seen with Brent's cheetah, with the two sisters. I'm dying to see them, by the way. I haven't seen them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They need low range to get out of that. One more loop along the drainage lines. And failing that, I've decided, since the sausage tree pride aren't anywhere to be found, we're going to go to a hyena den tonight. That's what we're going to do. I haven't done that in ages. Oh, Liz, there we go. You said you would like to visit the Mara hyena dens. With the greatest of pleasure. I don't have to be asked twice to do that, and it's been a while since I've actually had the opportunity, so I'm going to go and visit a hyena den, unless we find the cheetah, in which case we'll visit the hyena den tomorrow. Right, come on everybody, think spotty thoughts. Spotty, spotty thoughts. And actually, everybody on this vehicle needs to think light thoughts. Colleen, wild dogs in the Mara would be singularly the most excited I think you'll see any of us. If we find wild dogs in the Mara, and they have been seen, a pair of them were seen a couple of weeks ago, wandering through the area. If we were to see wild dogs, I think my heart would leap out of my chest. I'd be so excited. It's very rare to see them here. Their population, unfortunately, really struggled in this particular part of the world, thanks mainly to diseases. So absolutely, wild dogs in the Mara, I'll be there if I can find them. Okay, we're going to just stop and sit and look and listen, which is sometimes the best way of doing things out here, I've discovered. While we do that, let's send you back over to Tristan in South Africa to see what he's up to. Or not, or Tristan might just vanish off your screen and you can stay with us. You know, whatever works. You can sit and watch with me. Why don't we take in the atmosphere? We can watch the elephants walking underneath the spectacular Olololo escarpment. And on that note, we'll send you across to Brent with his spotted cats.
So guys, we are still with the cheetah. Sorry, there's just quite a lot of chatter in my ear. And as I say, the girls, I've moved up ahead. They're right down there in amongst some rocks. And we've got wildebeest near us. Now, there are some Thompson's gazelles around, as well as... Oh, they've decided to take a rest. I don't think they're going to rest for too long. Where's the second female now? I've lost sight of her. You see her, Craig? I'm just trying to spot her. I can just see the one lounging up against the termite mound. But there is, oh, there she is. She's popped up to the right of that one. A little bit to the right. There she is. And she is eyeing the wildebeest. Now, I don't see too many juvenile wildebeest amongst this herd, which is what they're going to look for. There are some Thompson's gazelles, but they're quite far away. It is just the most perfect afternoon out here. The light is absolutely gorgeous. Now, as I said, they are quite hungry. There are one or two young wildebeest. One or two young wildebeest amongst this little herd. Now, there's a lot of wildebeest just over this ridge. So we're almost right on top of the Rhino Ridge at the moment. Now, Kari's wondering, have I ever seen two different predators go after the same prey at the same time? Well, strangely enough, I actually have, Kari. I have seen a hyena not so much going after a little jackal for prey, just as opposed to chase it, and it actually chased the jackal right into Quarantine's jaws. Oh, our girls are up. Okay, so I just want to see where they're going to head. Let's just move a little bit quickly. Now, the wildebeest haven't seen them yet, but they're not looking too interested in the wildebeest. So the Thompson's gazelles and impala have gone over the other side of the ridge. Let's go. Let's wait till we get both in view. And there we go. The next one should be walk. There we go. Top of that termite mound, Craig. Oh, taking another break. They are just such elegant creatures. Kristen is wondering, is one sister more dominant when it comes to hunting? Not that I've seen, Kristen, I haven't actually seen them make a kill yet, and I haven't seen them feeding on a kill. So I can't even say who's more dominant when it comes to feeding, but they are of very similar size. So it's going to be very interesting to see. But in terms of hunting, I've seen them hunt and chase a few times, and it doesn't seem to matter which one leads the hunt. And it does look like they are taking a break on that termite mound. But we're going to stick with them, as I said. But before we go, let's have a quick look at a wonderful rainbow that we've got off to the left of us. Look at that. Dark sky, but for once the dark sky isn't above us. We're in the sunshine, so I'm quite happy about that. Let's go across to Tristan and see what's happening at Chitwa.
Well, Brent Leo Smith, we are also bathing in the golden sunshine. It is a beautiful afternoon here at Chitwa. It's quite quiet though. There's only a few hippos that are bobbing up and down and making a little bit of noise. You can see them all stretched out in that area. There's a bit of huffing and puffing going on. And we had some mosque swallows, which of course all flew away as Brent was coming to us. So they were all beautifully lined up on the tree in the most beautiful golden light. And then all of a sudden we ended up with a situation where the swallows disappeared. So unfortunately they were all there in that tree. There are a few red-billed buffalo weavers in that particular nest, and then there are the hippos as well. Like I say, no sign of any of our crocs at this stage. The crocs seem to be maybe on the island. I'll go and have a little look there just now, but I do have very good news, which is that Kuchava and Tingana are mobile north towards Chitwa, and so they are mating and they are moving towards the boundary, and so in all likelihood we might get lucky and see the two of them, which will be a lovely surprise. I know a lot of you haven't seen Kuchava and some of you haven't seen her in a long time, so it'll be a new leopard for some, as well as, well, an old friend that we can reunite with, which is great. But our hippos are being fairly playful. They kind of up and down quite a bit, and it's so nice coming to this dam. I always forget how lovely this dam is, particularly in the winter months when it's dry. You come here and there's just this massive water, and it just feels so different to when you've kind of driven around the dry, desolate bush that we have at the moment. So it's such a wonderful way of spending an afternoon. It's just to come here, golden light, listen to the hippos snorting and moving around, and just listen to the red-billed buffalo weavers. There was a fish eagle here just now, so it really is a wonderful way to spend an afternoon. And you can see there's an oxpecker riding on the back of that hippo. It's a very clever oxpecker because it's able to drink water and not have to worry about crocodiles or fish eagles or any other birds that might potentially try and go after it. It's able to then sit on top and drink water, although the hippos do go underwater from time to time, which ruins that whole exercise. And you can see it's just gone, and they often sit around that particular stump. Now, interestingly enough, last year when we had the drought, that stump was not even in the water, so it gives you an idea of just how dry it was last year. Chitwa redid the wall this year, so it caught a bit more rain, but that stump was way outside of the water. The edge of the water actually came onto the edge of that stump and around past the island. There was no island at that stage, which is pretty crazy. So it's amazing how much more water this year is held, and I'm sure the animals are far better off considering all of that. And there's the beautiful lodge that looks onto Chitwa Dam. You can see the big dead leadwood in there as well that forms the house for most of our red-billed buffalo weavers here. But there seems to be two birds. Senzo, if you can go to that bottom nest, so that nest there for me, and just have a look there. There's two little birds inside there that are not red-billed buffalo weavers. You can see them flittering about, but I can't see exactly what they are. And it seems as though they have taken over the buffalo weaver's nest. I might be wrong, but you see the bird in front. It's light in color, and it's got a little tail flick. Yep, there they are. Now, what are you? Oof, I can't see nicely at all. Maybe they're sparrows, but I can't see. I'm going to try to get my binoculars and have a little bit of a better look. But maybe some of you can get screenshots. It's really difficult for me to see on the screen. The sun is at an angle at the moment that it's hitting the screen directly, so I can't see nicely what those birds were. But they look like sparrows to me, so southern grey-headed sparrow would be what I think they are. Yes. So northern lamb, you are asking, what does Chitwa mean? Well, Chitwa has a bit of a unique name, and it's a funny name. It comes from a giraffe, actually. So an older giraffe that used to walk around this area, and as it walked, its two hooves would hit together and make this Chitwa sound, and that's where it came from. And so they used to say as it walked it would kind of make the Chitwa sound, and that's where it comes from, and that's why their logo is giraffe. That's the whole sort of story behind it. It's actually got no particular meaning. It's just a way that the local people said that it sounded when that giraffe used to walk around. So that's how the name came about. And it is a interesting kind of way, because often a lot of the names of lodges mean something, but this particular one doesn't. It's just more a sound that a giraffe made, and apparently used to hang around the camp quite a bit. Charles was telling me, who's the owner of Chitwa, is telling me that they used to see it really regularly, and that's why they decided on that name, which is cool. But it looks like one of our little baby hippos. Is it just on the back of that one, or is that a terrapin straight in front? So that hippo over there, Senzo. I'm just trying to see. I can't see nicely if it's a baby hippo or if it's Yes, there's a little baby resting on mom's back. How cute is that? So when you're a baby hippo, this is what you can do, is you can find mom and then you just rest on her back. You don't have to worry about keeping yourself afloat. You use mom for a flotation device. It's almost like armbands in the hippo world. Mom is the armband, and you just jump on top of her and you put your head there, and then you can take it nice and easy and rest and don't have to worry about keeping yourself up to breathe and to see what's going on. So very, very cute. The baby hippos at Chitwa are such a fun thing to see. I always love coming down here and seeing all these hippos together. It's wonderful when you come here and you listen to them calling. Oh, look at these two here, Senzo. You see the one's got its mouth out? Just to the right here. Oh, no, it's just closed it. But it's kind of displaying to the other one on the right-hand side. So it opened its mouth. Maybe we'll see it doing it more. Let's see. See, it's scent marking. It's busy wagging its tail. I wonder if it's just trying to intimidate the other one. So sometimes you'll get females if they got young ones, or you'll get sub-adult males, and this is all just establishing themselves and making sure they're all kind of looking after one another. Now, the problem is it sounds like those leopards that are moving towards Chitwa are moving right up against the western boundary of Chitwa, so they might go into Little Gowrie, but I'm just listening out and hoping. There are 3 vehicles there, so we are in the lineup to go to them if they do cross onto the side. Obviously, we can't really take a position from people that can traverse on those properties when we can't, and so that's why we're just sitting and hoping that they will come out. What is going on with those two? They're kind of prodding and poking each other. Maybe it's just a little game that's being played at the moment. You do sometimes find it with hippos that they will go after one another every now and then. There we go. You see? I think it's more playful games than anything else. Be careful, you're going to get... Oh, no, you don't want a hippo backside in your face, because what comes out of a hippo... Oh, there we go. So a little bit more serious than a game. So young boys having a little go at each other, although it looks like a female, the one in front, closest to us, who's more aggressive, because there was another one that was following it. So I wonder if it's a young female and a young male, and she's just being protective. Just being protective of the little one. So I was just stopping just to listen. Ali, no, the hippos won't stay in the water all night. They will come out of the water and they will head towards grazing areas. So they come out and start feeding on grass, and depending on their social status, they will depend on where they go. So if they are a high-ranking female or high-ranking male, so the dominant male, and they're females with small calves, they tend to feed close to the water. And if they are the sort of sub-adult males, then they have to travel quite long distances to go and graze. And sometimes they'll even go as much as 10 kilometers to go and feed in a night and then come back to Chitwa a little bit later. But very cool to see nonetheless. And you can just hear a little breathing all over the stove and making a little bit of noise. So lots of knots of noise at the moment. I would like to try and see if I can get towards the crocodile and see he's on the bank. Let's see if we can find him, and hopefully we keep signal. I'm hoping that the signal won't drop. Sometimes it does at Chitwa, so let's cross. Oh, look right here, Santo. In the tree up above us is a fish eagle, really close. Look how cool that is. So we don't often get views of a fish eagle at that distance. Look how close that fish eagle is. It's not even, I would say, 15 meters from us. They're normally quite shy and they fly away, but look at that beautiful coloration, that white chest, yellow face, brown sort of tummy area. Wonderful sight. Is there anything in its talons there? No, just a bit of branches or something. Sometimes you find these fish eagles with big catfish up in these trees. I've seen a fish eagle once with a catfish in here that looked like it was bigger than what it was, which was a crazy thing to see. And oh, I think it's going to fly away from us. Yeah, there we go. It's just dropping out of the tree and off it goes. Look at how the lapwings are following it. The lapwings are chasing it. So they're chasing over. They know that the fish eagle is dangerous, and they're now chasing it away to make sure that they keep themselves safe. They might have some young ones here somewhere that they are protecting. Right. Let's see. I think the crocodile must be somewhere here. Do you see it, Senzo? Let's have a look. Ah, there it is. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Senzo. So Senzo spotted him in front. Hello, crocodile. I know we've been seeing a lot more crocodiles with the Mara recently, but it's always great to catch up with them here because we don't get to see them that often. And we don't get to see them as much as what the guys in the Mara are seeing them. So for us to see a big crocodile is always a cool experience. And they love this island. They'll sit here and they'll rest and try and absorb some sunshine to get their body active to start hunting. And these crocs in this particular waterhole are not like our crocs in Kenya, where they will go after mammals mostly and mass feed and then go quite dormant for the rest of the year. These guys are big hunters of fish, so they'll go after fish quite regularly and they'll catch fish, and then once they've consumed a few fish, then they'll go from there. And every now and then you will find them getting a nyala. So you can see, look at those teeth, massive teeth. Sorry, I'm just trying to listen to the radio because it sounds like there's so many standbys, and I'm trying to monitor what's going on with these leopards as well, so that I can understand that if we do get called in, our spot doesn't get given away to somebody else because there's so much interest. So I do apologize if for a second I just pause. It's all just to try and hear what's going on, because I'm sure, like me, you would all like to see mating leopards, that's for sure. So I'm just trying to listen as much as possible as to what's happening. But I was saying that these guys are mostly fish eaters, and then from there they will sometimes feed off Egyptian geese quite a lot, and then also small mammals. So I've seen them going after nyala, bushbuck, waterbuck from time to time, particularly the young ones, impalas, duiker. So I've seen all of those being killed by these crocodiles at Chitwa Dam, which is quite nice to see. It's amazing to watch them hunt the fish, though. They often hunt the fish right up against the deck of Chitwa, where they use their body to push into the cove and they trap all the fish, and then the fish jump over them, and then they swipe their head and grab the fish as they go, which is really quite amazing. But look at that crocodile. It almost looks so content with the afternoon sunlight and is just enjoying its time spent warming up. It looks as the most content crocodile you've ever seen. It's as happy as a crocodile could look. It almost got like a smile on its face. Now, somebody else who must have a smile on his face is Brent Leo Smith with his beautiful cheetah in the afternoon golden light.
Well, look at that, an absolutely spectacular African sunset. And what makes it even better is we're still with those absolutely gorgeous girls. And they are moving slowly up towards the top of Rhino Ridge, and there is some potential prey ahead, but they're not going for them just yet. Now, this is the cheetah's favored hunting hour, the crepuscular hour. So it is the most successful time as well, the hour before sunset and the hour afterwards. Isn't that just too beautiful? So she's looking towards where the wildebeest are. And so there's not too many youngsters on the periphery, which is what would be ideal for them.
Question, Mr. Crowley, can she actually bring down a wildebeest, Mr. Crowley?
Mr. Crowley is wondering, can cheetah bring down a wildebeest? They most certainly can, and do, especially during the migration. And two girls, they probably are capable of taking down an adult, although it would be quite difficult. So they would prefer to focus on a sub-adult, and there are a few sub-adults there. Not as quick, not as big, not as strong. There we go. Okay, look at it, she changed her body language. She's going for the wildebeest. Oh, isn't that magical? Alice, I would like to go on Facebook, please.
I'll let you know when it's up.
Well, Welcome everyone, we back with those same cheetah. They're now backlit by the most spectacular light, and they are sneaking up on a herd of wildebeest. They will be trying to single out a weakened adult or a sub-adult. Remember, this is coming to you live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. My name is Brent, I have Craig on camera, and we are bringing you live hunting action from the migration. So these wildebeest have traveled many hundreds of kilometers, have braved many attempts by cheetah, lion, and will it be the end of one of these wildebeest's migration? Look at her body language. Isn't that absolutely spectacular? You can see the focus. Now the other female has just moved behind a termite mound, so I just want to move slightly so we get both, in case the front female decides she's going to run first. Okay, there we go. We've got both of them now. They're probably only about 70 meters away from the wildebeest, and we're in the crepuscular hour, which is the cheetah's most successful time for hunting. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? So they've been slowly sneaking towards these wildebeest. Shihora is wondering, where is this? Shihora, we are in the Masai Mara in Kenya, and it is great to have you on the back of the safari vehicle with us. And you can see we're with two cheetah sisters who have had an unsuccessful afternoon so far. They nearly caught an impala. Oh, front one's up. She spotted something. She might have spotted a young one or a bit of weakness. Julie says, ooh, this is going to be exciting. Julie, I agree 100%. She's getting very close now. Let's stay on the front one, Craig. She's going to go first. Has she disappeared behind another termite mound? Oh, she has. Naughty girl. Can just see her tail there. Look at that. That's all we can see. Now, probably 50, 60 meters now. They haven't been spotted. I'm keeping an eye on the wildebeest as well. Now, quite often with herds of wildebeest, cheetah might try use a bit of panic, basically. They'll charge in and see if they can cause a bit of pandemonium and look for one of the young ones or an injured adult. Okay, well, while we're about, we're just going to move a little bit further. Dominique is wondering, would movement from our vehicle disturb the hunt? Dominique, yes, if we moved in the wrong place. So we always make sure we're on the peripheries or on the other side of where the action's going to take place. We don't want to interfere. So if you drove badly, you most definitely could disturb the hunt. But if you keep a respectful distance and watch the animal behavior, you can completely witness this incredible behavior without interfering. So there we go. So as I say, you can see now, let's go from the wildebeest back down. Oh, wait, no, she's about to go. Run, 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 drop. She's getting close into that sort of strike zone.
It's the first time I've ever seen them chase wildebeest.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. She's going to start trying to cause panic. She's getting quite close now. Look at that. Oh my goodness, isn't this incredible? They're looking for some weakness. They're splitting, doubling the chances. Now chasing that wildebeest over the rocks, it might hurt it. Oh dear. Unsuccessful. I can't see where the other girl is. Hold on, let's get a bit closer. Now wait, go back. The wildebeest is going to chase her. There's a big male wildebeest going to chase. Back, left. Left, other left. Left, there. Left, Craig, not right. There we go. That wildebeest is actually chasing the other sister. Now that's a big male wildebeest. And she's managed to avoid him. Okay, let's get in a bit closer. So unlucky, that's their second unsuccessful hunt. But it doesn't mean they're not going to hunt again. We've noticed that the cheetahs here will hunt well into the dark. So here we go, both ladies are about to reunite. A little bit to the right. Come a bit more. There we go. A little. There we go. There's the one female. She's moving towards. Oh no, she's going to flop down. Expended a bit of energy. And the other female's done the same, just nearby. She's also flopped down in amongst the rocks. Now there are wildebeest aplenty all around here, so they definitely will have another try. And I would say probably in the next half an hour or so. But isn't that incredible? That is our second live cheetah hunt this afternoon alone. And unfortunately, again, not successful. But I still think they've got another good 1 or 2 hunts in it. Remember, keep an eye on the notifications. We're going to be right here live in Kenya with these 2 female cheetah. Hopefully they'll have a little bit more success next time. Oh, welcome everyone back. Unfortunately, these lovely ladies have had their second unsuccessful hunt. Let's get a little bit closer. It sounds like they're busy being bombarded by lapwings at the moment, so they might not hang around this spot too long. There we go. So you can see they tried some wildebeest. The one female actually got chased by the wildebeest as well after the unsuccessful hunt. You can see panting quite heavily. They didn't utilize too much energy, so I don't think the turnaround to the next hunt will be too long. But you can hear very distressed lapwings. They probably have a nest somewhere in these rocks. Now, from the 2 girls that I'm growing to love, to Tristan and a mystery spotted cat.
Well, look at this, guys. Does it get any better than that? So Tingana on the right, Kuchava on the left. There's the beautiful big Tingana looking as stately as ever, and the beautiful Kuchava on the left-hand side. Now, for those of you who don't know who Kuchava is, that is the daughter of Tundi, the leopard we saw last night, and so it was her last cub that she had. And as far as I know, she has mated a few times, but yet to produce a litter, which is exciting news. So it looks like she's come into an area where Tundi has spent a lot of time around Chitwa, and I wonder if this is not where she's going to end up denning if she does fall pregnant. It would be amazing if we have her on Chitwa, Tundi on Djuma, and then we get to see the lineage carry on, because remember, this is still Karula's lineage, as Tundi is the daughter. And how cool is that to see the 2 of them positioned on top of the mound? It is as good as it gets. Now, like I say, there are unfortunately lots and lots of cars that want to come in here, so we're not going to get a long sighting of them, but it doesn't get better than that. When you've got 2 leopards sitting on top of a mound the way these 2 are, it is really about as good as anyone could really ask for. And you can see the size difference between the 2 of them. If you look at the size of his shoulders and his chest compared to hers, you can see how much bigger that Tingana is. Now, Tom, you're asking what Kuchava means. Kuchava means basically it's like shy, as far as I'm right. Is that right, Senzo? Yeah. It's like to be shy or to be wary of something. So it probably was because this little leopard, when it was still a cub, was fairly sort of wary of cars and used to move away, and it wasn't very relaxed, and that's why it's gotten the name Kuchava. So that's normally, if you say something is chava, it's unrelaxed, it's not something that will allow you to view it much, and that's where the name comes from for her. But she is beautiful, and you can see she's become very relaxed now. She doesn't worry about us at all, as she's become independent. We've been able to spend more time with her, and I know a lot of you are saying you've never seen her before. We used to see her a lot more when we were on Cheetah Plains and traversing Cheetah Plains. She spends time in that area. I remember I had a sighting of her very close to Cheetah Plains Open, actually, which was quite cool. So she's moved a lot, and I think with the shifting of Tundi into Djuma, so that's allowed Kuchava to start shifting from in Coral, Cheetah Plains side, more towards Chitwa side, and we can't complain. I mean, if we're going to get to see another female leopard and another sort of development, and particularly a young female, because remember we don't have many young females. Tundi, Shadow, they're older individuals, and if we can get a sort of 3.5-year-old female that's going to start having her first litters, this might become another legacy that's going to carry on in the years to come of Safari Live. So it's great to have another female, and for those of you who want to check any of the spot patterns or want to look for noticeable markings, Senzo's just doing a little sweep of her body so you guys can get some screenshots and get some markings that will be able to identify her. But you can see they're both tired. I suppose it's been a long afternoon of walking around and mating, so it's probably why they're so tired. Now, Razor, you say she looks so much like her mom. She does, doesn't she? She's got a little bit of her mom look to her, but there's whoever the father is has also got a bit in there. She seems to have a little bit more of a boxy face than what Tundi has. Tundi seems to have a more rounder face. She's got a little bit more of a boxy face, and in fact, I've actually shown her a photo to a number of people, and they often comment that she has a little bit more of a masculine look than what Tundi does, but she is beautiful. She's a very pretty leopard, and I know this is Taylor's absolute favorite leopard. So Taylor, I hope that you are watching, and if you're not watching, well, I'm sure she'll be excited to know that we got to see Kuchava and that there's an update on her, because Taylor loves this leopard and always used to go looking for her on Cheetah Plains. So I'm super glad that we got to catch up with her, and she's looking as good as you could imagine. The last time I saw her, she was a little bit smaller, and she's grown a little bit. She's filled out, and she really is growing into a beautiful leopardess. You can see her nose is starting to darken as well, so the pink is disappearing ever so slightly, and slowly but surely we'll find that that nose will become very dark. Beautiful clean ears of a young leopard as well. So, are you sleepy, my girl? I see your boyfriend is also sleeping at the moment. He's completely out cold as well, as Tingana likes to do. It's nice to actually see Tingana sitting for once. We are generally with him, and he's moving around all over the place. Now, the interesting thing is that she's come off a carcass. So it's interesting that she was eating a carcass yesterday and then now is with Tingana. I wonder if Tingana has robbed her of it, and that's why that carcass is now finished, and then they've joined together to start mating. Whether she's in a proper estrus cycle is anyone's guess, but I would imagine that the two of them are mating for real, because apparently today they have mated quite a bit. So I'm sure they are mating, and maybe they just finished off the carcass together and then they've now started this mating, which will last for about 3 days. Now, Karen, you say Kuchava means scared. Well, like I say, I mean, it's scared is probably not, I mean, that is, I suppose, a direct translation, but out here, if we say something is chava, it means that it's unrelaxed. So we refer to an animal as chava. It's unrelaxed. It's not an animal that is easy to view, and that's why she was called Kuchava. So scared, I suppose, is the direct translation, or shy. Well, Tingana is actually shy. That's the name for Tingana. So we've got shy and scared, which neither of them look like they are anything to suggest what their names are. But remember, when Tingana arrived, he was also quite secretive and elusive, and like I say, Kuchava was the same when she was a cub, so that's why they both inherited those kind of secretive names as they went along. So they make a fitting pair, don't they? And you can see they've chosen probably the best spot that we could have asked for. Where we are now is not a great place for us. Our signal is very bad down here, and in fact, before we did the upgrade to the Chitwa mast, we would never have been able to do a segment here or even been able to see these leopards. So the fact that they've lay where they are is just the best news. If they'd gone 20 meters north of where we are now, there's not a chance I would have been able to get to the sighting, and we wouldn't have been able to see them. So we can be very thankful that they decided to stop on top of a mound for us this afternoon, which is really, really cool. But just look at the size of his neck in comparison to her. She's at least got her head up for us, which is nice. Hopefully he'll pop his head up just now as well, and we'll be in a situation where we can at least get both of them with heads up. That opening shot of the two of them kind of looking around was just fantastic, wasn't it? It really kind of worked very well to see the two of them together. It would be nice also if we got a bit of a mating session. It would be really, really good if we could see some sort of mating going on. It's been a long time since we've had mating live on camera. We had Tundi and Tingana, but I don't think we ever got it on camera. Or maybe Tara did. I think Tara did. That was well over a month ago, and never get enough of mating leopards, although Megan would disagree. Megan is a big protester of the mating catch. She does not enjoy their mating. She says that it is gross. So Megan, don't worry, if it is, I'll tell you to close your eyes and you cannot watch what goes on. So Megan says thank you very much, which is good. But our leopard luck continues. It seems to be every time we come to Chitwa, we've had a leopard as well, which is really amazing. So, Jake, the father of Kuchava, I'm not 100% sure. I would imagine it's either Shivambalan or it's Tingana. Look, she's going to go up to him and she's going to initiate the mating. Look, Senzo, I'm going to roll back slightly for you. Just going to try and go back a little bit so that Senzo can see a bit better. There we go. Look, so she's trying to initiate it. She's the one rubbing up on him, and this is what the females do. How cool is this, guys? Look, and there he goes. Who's going to get up? So that is exactly what happens when mating happens, is that they will go after one another and they will fight with one another and they will claw at one another and they will bite with one another. And that's because when he mates with her, he actually has a barb on the end of his penis, and so when it pulls out it actually hurts her, and that's when this growling and hissing carries on, and they then slap and claw at one another. But unfortunately, that means that Tingana is now up and moving, and our chances of following them are going to be quite slim. We're going to try our very best. I don't think we are going to be able to keep signal inside here, but I definitely am going to try. But how cool was that? It doesn't get any better than what we've just seen right now. That is the best way to have experienced leopards, and to have mated where they did right on top was just absolutely phenomenal. So that was super, super cool, and we got very, very lucky to be able to see that. Now, I am going to try and follow them. If we do lose signal, I do apologize. It drops off quite a bit where we are now. It goes into a basically a drainage line, but it becomes a lot harder to follow them through this. So we're going to try our very best to be able to get through here and to keep signal, but I don't know if we will. It really is very thick. You can see there's Tingana just walking off there and Kuchava in the distance. So if you want to just see a size comparison,
oh dear, we do apologize for that. It seems as though everybody's feed disappeared except for ours, but that's okay, we're up and running. It just so happened that Manu was right in the middle of rigging up his infrared. So, when you find something in the dark and you're not 100% sure as to how you got there, well, I GPSed the coordinates of a hyena den, and now I'm trying to get us back there, but I don't really know exactly how I got there in the first place. So whilst I have the GPS coordinates, it was sort of... I don't even really remember if I was on a road when I found this den, or if I was following something else. So now, see, this looks like a road. This looks like it might. Let's see if this will lead me. Some of these roads are not 100% roads, exactly. Yes, I must follow this road, I think. That would put me in the right direction. We'll follow our... Oh, will it? No. Well, yes, kind of. Let's go this way. Often when you're following something in the dark, when you kind of know where you are, you know roughly where you are, but you don't know exactly where you are or how you got there. And occasionally you don't even know how to get out of there. So I have a funny story to tell you. While we were sitting watching and listening, a car came zooming up behind us, and I expected it was somebody coming to see what we were looking at. And it wasn't. It was some lost guests whose camp is up at the top of the escarpment far towards the Tanzanian border. But they were very, very lost, and they were starting to get very worried. So I gave them directions, but they weren't 100% convinced that our directions were accurate, and they were very confused, and they were not fully accepting. But the funniest line was essentially, we just don't want to be out here when it gets dark. I was thinking to myself, that's exactly when we want to be out here. All the best stuff happens. You've got the perfect excuse. You're lost. It's not your fault. Anyway, we gave them some directions, sent them on their way. Hopefully they make it. If they don't, well, I guess not. I'm almost at our hyena den. I found it. Let's go back to Tristan, who's going to kick off our school drive this evening with 2 lovely leopards. Or not. Or we will carry on regardless. Okay, let me just do one quick double check of something here. Hawk and Island. Fantastic. Hawk and Island Elementary. So we will be taking a school drive very shortly. Obviously, as you know, it's one of the most fantastic things that we do, is to be able to share this amazing environment with kids of all ages. First person to spot a hyena gets a chocolate digestive. Alright, we're going to say goodbye to you in this context, and we're going to transition and begin our school drive.
Near the Mara Bridge.
Hello and welcome to the kids joining us this, well, I suppose for you it's not this evening, but for us it is evening here in the Masai Mara. So welcome to Hawk and Island Elementary Schools. It's wonderful to have you kids on board. We are coming to you live from a place called the Masai Mara in Kenya, and jumping between Kenya and then back towards South Africa, which of course is on the southernmost tip of the African continent. My name is Jamie, and this evening Manu is on camera with me, and Manu is quite shy, so that's all that you're going to see of Manu. So what we really want you guys to do is send through lots of questions, anything that you'd like to know about the amazing animals that we see out here. What I'm searching for at the moment is a very, very special place. It is a hyena den, a spotted hyena den. And that is where they keep their little cubs, and where all of the clan members gather together when they come to greet each other in the evenings. Now, it's just up ahead of me, I hope. I found it once in the dark. I'm hoping it's still active, because hyenas do change den sites. And I hope that there's some hyenas home. Now, we're going into, it is now, what time is it? It is 10 to 7 in the evening here in Kenya. Oh, it's starting to get dark in South Africa. They are an hour behind us. And it should actually be starting to get dark there as well. Now, the amazing thing about this time of day is that we actually have the entire Masai Mara to ourselves. So we can travel around at night, look for various creatures. We follow lions, we follow hyenas, we follow cheetah, all sorts of incredible things that we get to witness. And one of the reasons why we're in the Masai Mara at the moment, although we're going to be in the Masai Mara in the future, you can see I'm getting my light out, it's getting dark, is the fact that we are in the middle of one of the biggest migrations on the planet. So every year, a couple of 100,000 zebra, over 1 million wildebeest, and some Thompson's gazelle as well, will make this massive loop from Tanzania, which is to the south of me, right up to across the rivers, jumping away from the crocodiles and into the Masai Mara ecosystem, and then they go back and they do it all again. And that's the incredible thing about this particular place. And when I say to you that there are easily over 1 million wildebeest, I really mean it. Now it is getting very, very dark, but I can see a baby giraffe, and I wonder if it would be possible for us to see it. Unfortunately, it is a bit gloomy. Now what we do is we use technology to help us out here. So we've got infrared lights. Now the infrared lights project a type of light that the animals don't see. So it doesn't blind them. It doesn't make them feel dazzled. And what that means is that we can watch animals that are usually asleep at night or usually only active during the day. We can use it to watch them. Manu, can we try and see it, or is it a little bit too dark still? Let's have a look. Unfortunately, our infrared seems to be... It's just at that in-between time. Yeah, the infrared doesn't want to come on. So we're having a little bit of difficulty with it. But if you look in the gloom, you can just see there's the adult giraffe over there. There's Mum with a zebra below her. And if we look a little bit to the right there, Manu... sorry, a little bit to the left. The other right. There's Baby coming to join Mum. Although it is getting dark, we can just make them out. Tiny little one. You can see, there we go. We're going to shift through to black and white so that we can see slightly clearer. We can take full advantage of the amount of light that's left. There we go. So now we're going to be looking at things using infrared light. Baby giraffe and a zebra. Two of the most iconic animals that we get out here. Oh, Haley, there's a very good question. You want to know, what if we got lost? How would we find our way back? Well, there's a couple of ways, Haley. One of which is to carry a compass. So we do, in places where we don't have any kind of phone signal and we can't work out exactly where we are, we do keep compasses so that we can get our direction. But, oh, galloping off. What's wrong, little one? Racing off away. Back again. Just playing around a little bit. But you can also use the stars. If it's not a cloudy night, we use the stars to navigate. We find the Southern Cross, which is very visible in the Southern Hemisphere, and we use that to help us find our way. And basically, we memorize our landmarks. So I know that there's a mountain range over there behind me and to the west of me, and I know that I live at the camp on the top of that, and I use the lights from the various camps to help me move about at night. But yes, we get lost. Now, Autumn, you want to know where the best place is to see the lions. Autumn, this is one of the best places to see the lions. Here in the Masai Mara, there are lots and lots and lots of lions. And if we get lucky, we might even be able to find one for you this evening. Now, I did just want to go and visit the hyenas first, but I know where there are some lions. So if we don't have any luck with a hyena, we'll go across and we'll join up with the lions and we'll spend some time with them. So, lions... During the day, they like to hide a little bit in the shade, and in the evening, they're up and about and moving. So we could even have a lion come walking past us while we're sitting here. It wouldn't be the first time that that's happened. So I promise we'll go looking for lions if we don't have any luck with hyena. Okay, hands up if you want to go and find a hyena den. I do. I really want to find this hyena den. I want to show that I can. Finding one in the dark is one thing. Finding it again in the dark is a whole different story. But it's somewhere here. Luckily, I've actually managed to GPS the coordinates, so I can keep looking. Aha! Another Jamie that we have this evening on our school drive. You want to know if I've ever seen animals attack each other? Yes, I have. It happens. It's one of those things that does happen. Animals fight. Animals have to hunt each other. They can't go to the supermarket. There's no food that we feed them. They don't get fed by us. So the lions have to hunt other animals in order to feed. The animals have to fight for their place in basically to survive. So males will fight with each other for the right to mate with a female. That would be an example of animals fighting with each other. Sometimes animals of different species fight over resources. And what I mean by that is maybe there's not much water and then the animals fight with each other. So yes, I've seen lots of different animal fights. I've seen think I've actually seen all animals fight with each other at one point or another. We've spent a lot of time, we've seen the cheetah hunt, we've seen the lions hunt, and the hyenas as well. So it is one of those things that we think is cruel because we're human beings. But actually, if you think about it, nature isn't cruel. It's just the way it is. These animals have to survive. That's the way that they have evolved to be. Here's some zebra off to our right. Grace, my favorite animal, if I'm completely honest with you, Grace, is a rhinoceros. And the reason I love rhinoceros so much is because when I was a little girl, I was taken to a rhino sanctuary because rhino are one animal that have had a very, very tough time out here. They've been poached almost to extinction in certain places. So I was taken to a rhino sanctuary and I was allowed to feed a black rhinoceros by hand, and his name was Bwana. And I remember the sheer excitement, and that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to protect the rhino, and they became my favorite animal from there. I also really love to spend time with the elephants, and if I could find these hyenas, but I think unfortunately they've abandoned this den site. They were hiding in these termite mounds. If I was able to find a hyena, I would tell you that that is one of my favorite predators to spend time with. And the reason for that is they're very, very intelligent. They're one of the most intelligent animals out here. They communicate so well with each other. And here's the amazing thing about hyenas, is that they actually are one of the few animals where the female is larger than the male. Okay. So, the hyena den was here. Let's see if we get lucky. Everybody cross fingers and hold your thumbs and do whatever you do for good luck. Maybe we'll find them. If we don't, though, we'll go look for the lion. We saw a big male lion off in that direction this morning. Hopefully he decides to stick around for us. Okay. Hyenas. Oh, hyenas! Hyenas! We found the hyenas! Yay! I'm so excited! Yippee! 1, 2, 3 hyenas. Just to let you know, we're still having problems, Manu, with the infrared. Alice, we are struggling with our infrared light. There we go. So I'm going to keep spotlighting them, but I'm going to try not to overwhelm us. There you go, look, there's the spotted hyena. Oh, Grace, the amazing thing about the hyenas in this particular area is that there are clans of up to 100 members. Now, not all of them will be at the den site at the same time because, well, when they've got babies with them, then they are, not all of the females will have babies at the same time, but if they do have babies, they will go to the den site. Hello, hyenas. They're coming to say hello to us. See, this is how curious hyenas are. Hello. What's up? We're coming right to the front of the car. Now, hyenas are not dangerous to people unless you fall asleep out in the open. If you fall asleep in the open, they will come and investigate, and because they're curious, they don't have fingers or thumbs, but they do have very strong jaws. So you must never sleep out here in the open without some form of protection. That's the only way. Okay, we can see if there's any more. That's the only way that hyenas can actually harm you. Okay, we're going to follow our spotted hyenas for a little bit. Let's go back to, or try to go to Tristan, because he's actually got spotted creatures of a different kind.
Hello everybody, and a special warm welcome to Hawk Elementary and Island Elementary. And yes, we do, we have the most special creatures we could possibly ask for in the form of 2 leopards. So this is very rare. It's amazing to see 1 leopard, but to see 2 leopards is incredibly special. And it's a mommy and daddy leopard, so it's a male in front. This is the big dominant king of the leopard kingdom here in this area, and he is striding. Look at him coming past. He's a really big male, and you can see he's walking with his tail up because the guinea fowl are shouting at him. That's why he's walking like this. And then to his left is his female partner. Now, leopards generally are on their own. They're not normally in groups together. So to see two together is very special indeed. And you can see, look, they're coming past the car and they're actually going to walk straight into a lodge. Now, for those of you that don't know who I am, as Jamie said, my name is Tristan, and on camera today I have Senzo. And remember, you can send your questions through to with your teacher, and we'll try and answer as many as possible. Unfortunately, though, I don't know how much longer we're going to have our leopards for, because they are going into Chitwa camp. You can see there is a little fence here, and that's because there is a so we get lots of tourists here, and they cross under these fences and they're going through the camp. We're going to try and keep up with them along the side of the camp and hope that they come out. Because there's people in the camp, lots of the times they will come out and they'll move in this direction, so hopefully we will be able to see them again. It's going to be a bit of a while until they come out. I'm going to try just... Oh, they're chasing some guinea fowls. That's why the guinea fowls are going crazy, which is the birds. So let's try and see. Oh, it's such a pity. There never used to be a fence here, actually, when I used to work here. This is just coming so to protect them from the elephants. Lily, you want what the leopards look like when they are young? Well, leopards look very similar when they're young. They're actually a little bit darker because all the spots are still very close together, and then it takes time for the spots to expand out to make the beautiful rosettes that we see on these leopards now. So when they're younger, they appear as though they're a little bit more black in coloration, but they are much smaller. They're only about this size when they're little cubs, when they're born, as tiny little things, and they can't see or anything like that, and it takes a few weeks. And once they reach about 8 weeks to 12 weeks is when we start to see them coming out of their dens where the mothers hide them, and then you'll find that they start moving around with their moms from about 3 months. You start to see them coming out, and only once they reach about, I would say, about 8 months do we see them really kind of coming into their own and starting to hunt for themselves. Now, they have disappeared into this lodge. I can just see the top of one of their heads through this thicket. I don't know if you can see it there, Senzo, just on the other side. It seems as though they're coming... Oh, they're going down towards the lodge, which is not good. I was hoping they were going to go the other way, because the other way would have meant we would have been able to see them, but they're now heading back deeper into this lodge, which is not ideal. So this is the best thing about being out in these areas, is that the people that stay here overnight and come to see these kind of animals, they even have this where leopards are walking right in front of their balcony in the night. And isn't that amazing? Because remember, a leopard is generally a shy, reclusive animal, so we're very lucky to be able to see these leopards and be able to follow them around and to get a glimpse of them. So those people, they are very lucky. Haley, you're wondering why we're not getting attacked? Well, these leopards here have gotten used to us as people with our cars, because we don't steal food from them, we don't hurt them, we don't attack them, and so they've gotten used to us, and they think that we are something that moves around that doesn't hurt them, and so they're not too scared, and they also haven't been taught to hunt us by their moms, and so they see us as just a part of the area and something that moves around, and they're not too stressed about that fact. So that's why we don't get attacked by them. They're actually just basically, the vehicle is like a part of the family, really, and they don't know that it's food, and so they leave us alone, which is why we get such incredible views of the leopards. Now, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and just go around a little bit and see if we can get another view of them. There is a way to get around there. If the other guy gives us permission, we maybe can get in there, but we'll have to drive on the pathway into the lodge, but we'll have to ask for permission first before we can go into that section. But hopefully they'll say yes, and then we can film the leopard walking through the lodge itself, which will be quite cool, and out onto the other side. The problem is if they go down towards the dam, there's not very much I can do, unfortunately. Lani, you're asking what the most common animal fight is that I see. Probably impalas. So impala is like a deer for us, and they fight regularly for females, and that's normally around April, March. So we see them fighting a lot. We see hippos fighting a lot. Elephants play fighting. What else do we see fighting a lot? Little dwarf mongoose that wrestle a little bit, so they get small little creature like this. Trying to think of other animals that we see fighting a lot. The antelope species, mostly, they are the ones that generally fight quite a bit because they establish dominance. The leopards and the lions and the buffalo, not so much, because they try and kind of avoid fighting, because if they fight they can end up injuring themselves. Now I just need to quickly ask the guide on the radio if we can follow into his lodge. Surprise, surprise. Now he's not answering, which is not ideal, so we're going to have to just stand by here for a little bit and hope that we can get hold of them and be able to talk to them. But while I do that, if you have a look on the horizon here, there are some antelope that are busy crossing over the top of this airstrip. So this is where planes come and land for people to come and get to holiday here, because we're right far away from the cities. And so there are some antelope that are on top, and they look like nyala. So nyala are a type of antelope that we get here, and to remember their name, just think of New York and LA, because it's Nyala. So New York and LA, nyala. That's how you can remember the name for them. And these are all boy nyalas, so they're males that have come together to form a bachelor herd, and so they are able to then protect one another by seeing and smelling and hearing, and that's how they keep safe from the leopards that are moving around. Sarah, you're asking when most animals come out. Well, it depends on the animals. So these kind of things like the nyala, they're around more during the day. So for them now, they're trying to find somewhere where they can go and rest and look out for predators, and so are far more active at the daytime. Same as things like buffalo and elephants, we find are more active at the day. But any animal out here can move around at any time, because remember, it's not like us that we have a day and then we have to sleep at night. These animals all have to live and they have to survive. They have to avoid a predator, or they have to try and hunt, and so that means that they are active at any time of the day. But generally the busiest periods in the animal world are around sunrise and sunset. We're now at sunset, and that's why the leopards are moving, the nyalas are moving, and there's lots of other animals that will be moving around. But it's getting very dark here, and that's why the nyalas are difficult to see a little bit. So they're a dark chocolate brown, so they don't come out into the camera too nicely. But there they go, off across the runway. Very, very beautiful sight, that's for sure. Always enjoy watching these nyalas going across the runway. They're a very pretty animal. Now, unfortunately, this is where we're going to have to sit and just wait and see if these leopards do come out this way. I'm hoping that they will. Unfortunately, once they go into the lodge, there's nothing else I can do, so we're just going to have to turn around and wait and hope that they come walking out. If they don't, well, that's the way it goes. We at least got a glimpse of them, and we got lucky to see them. And like I say, a leopard is one of the hardest animals to see out here, so if we got a little glimpse of them, well, then that's also very lucky. So this is the road that I think they will come out on. There's a road that comes straight from where we saw them. It comes straight like this towards where we are, but they might have cut towards the rooms which are in front there, and so we might battle a little bit if they've gone that way. I was just hoping that they might come up onto this road and we get to see them this side. Either way though, we got lucky, didn't we? It's nice to see leopards. They're the most beautiful animal. They've got those beautiful spots, and nice to see the male and female together as well. Now, this time of the night, we're also looking for any of the nocturnal animals that might be coming out. So we're going to try and see if maybe something like lions, or we get lots of bats and small mammals like civets and servals and caracals and genets and those kind of things that come out at night. So maybe we'll get lucky and something will appear in this general area. We just kind of have to wait a little bit and be patient, like I say, for the leopards. So we'll just scan around, and that's what we do. We have a torch or a spotlight like this, and so this, then we can shine around and we try and look for any eyes that look back at us, and that's how we spot things in the night. So I'm going to scan around with my lights and my spotlight and try and see if I can find something in the darkness. And while we do that, I believe my friend Jamie is sitting at her hyena den waiting patiently for the hyenas to come out.
From spotted cats to our spotted hyena, they might have moved their den before, well, from where I had them before, but here's the wonderful thing. These hyenas have taken us to their new den site. So there are tiny baby hyenas in here. At the moment, the adults are doing their greeting ceremony. So what that involves with hyenas is each hyena goes up to the other one, and the one that is more submissive will be the first to lift its leg so that the other hyena can sniff between its legs. And that's the way that hyenas greet each other, and the way that they reaffirm their hierarchy. So I mentioned that the females are bigger than the males. The females have also got a very strict way that they rule the clan. So there's one female that is the biggest, and she is, well, not necessarily the biggest, but the most dominant. And she is the matriarch, and all of the other hyenas will be submissive to her. and then her daughters will inherit her status as well. Airy, yes, hyenas are nocturnal. That's why we were so desperate to come and get and find them before it got too dark, so that we could spend a little bit of time with them and get to know them. Now, this particular clan is known as the North Clan, and apparently they have got potentially over 100 clan members. Now, we will know the matriarch. I'm just checking with my light just to see exactly how many hyenas are around. Can hear them calling. Now, we will know the matriarch if we see her because she's got a collar. And that collar is used by researchers. Now, if we sit quietly for a second, of course now I want to sit quietly, they've all gone quiet themselves. But Sophia, you're wondering what hyenas sound like. Do they really laugh? They make a sound that sounds like giggling, and they usually do it when they're feeding or when they're quite nervous, or when they're hyped up for some reason. And they do make a sound that sounds very, very much like laughter. And we might even see it if we sit here, because the den is the hub of the hyena world. It's like their headquarters. I'm just going to get a little bit closer so we can watch the interactions. So it's like their headquarters, and because of that you get lots of interactions. Are they also, my favorite sound that hyenas make, they make the most amazing contact call, and that contact call sounds a little bit like this. Ooh. 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 You can hear them listening to something. The babies, I think, are all hidden underneath the surface of the soil. There comes another hyena running in. There must be about 7 or 8 hyena here. Now, that contact call, I think, is a beautiful sound, and it's the way that the different clan members communicate with each other, and if they need support, then they'll call to each other. Avery, there is no particular mating season for hyenas, so they can mate all year round, but you will find that a lot of the time the females have cubs of not the same ages. Oh, one's racing off towards the others in the background. Bit of excitement. There's obviously a newcomer that's come in, and one of the females is going to go and see what's happening there. Now, what I don't want to do is use the spotlight where the cubs are. Oh, they're all racing off. Where are we going? I can hear other hyenas calling. Should we try and find them? Oof, that's going to be difficult for us to follow them. I don't think we're going to manage. Avery, you want to know if we could try and see the cubs here? We can try. We're going to sit quietly. I don't want to use my spotlight on them, but let's see if maybe they'll come out. I think that these hyenas are all going to run off now. Come on, little cubs. You can come out. I wish I could show you the cubs, but they won't come out. Now that all of the adults have gone, they won't come out. They'll be a little bit too scared, especially the tiny ones. But when spotted hyenas are small, they don't have any spots. They're just tiny, little, wrinkly brown things. Gabby, you want to have animals fight over the den? Not necessarily. The hyena cubs will often fight with each other. Okay, we're going to have to drive around to catch up with the hyenas. The hyena cubs will fight with each other. The females will sometimes fight with each other. And that's partly, not really over the den, but just to keep reaffirming that, okay, I'm the boss and you're below me. And I'm the boss and you're below me. And it applies to their cubs as well. So if a hyena, let's say a hyena is quite low ranking, so she hasn't got much in the way of status. Now let's say she's quite low ranking. I've got to be careful, there's lots of holes here. And she has cubs, and then there's another hyena with cubs as well, but she's quite high ranking. If the high ranking hyena's cubs are bullying and being a little bit too rough with the low ranking hyena's cubs, there's nothing she can do. Absolutely nothing. Because if she tries to stop the cubs from bullying her own cubs, the adult will step in. Okay, we're going to try and keep up with these hyenas. It's really difficult because they run really fast. They don't walk. But let's go see if we can. We're going to be using our spotlight, and that's what Tristan's doing too.
I am using my spotlights. Unfortunately, our leopards have gone to sleep in the lodge and we can't get to them. So there's no way to get a car to where the leopards are. So they're sleeping there. So we've decided to carry on so I can try and find you guys some other things to see. So I'm going to look for some owls or for some civets or something like that. Avery, you're asking if the leopards are maybe looking for a den. Well, I don't think so. I think in all likelihood they are just probably mating now, which means that they are going to look for a den in 3 months' time. But remember, with leopards, it's only the female that will be looking after the babies. The male doesn't look after the babies at all. In fact, the male will leave them alone. Now, I'm just going past friends that we have out here that have got guests with them that are looking for some animals. Evening, everybody. So we just have to be nice and kind to them because they all help us to be able to see animals out here. But no, so the mom only looks after the cubs, and therefore that male will only be with that female for 3 days or so while they breed, and then from there they're going to separate, and it will just be the mommy that will be pregnant, and she'll then take it to the den where she will have the cubs by herself. So that's how it works with the leopards. The dads are a little bit lazy. They don't really help with looking after the cubs at all. So it's the way it works a little bit in the leopard world. Oh, see, there was a scrub hare. Riley, you're asking how many leopards I've seen at one time. Now, Riley, I'm going to get to that now because look, there goes a scrub hare. So the scrub hare is like a nocturnal rabbit, I suppose, but it's not a rabbit. So hares are different to rabbits in that hares come out at night. They also have longer legs. Oh, did you see it jump? What did you get a fright from? It obviously got a fright and it jumped. That's very cool. And so they're different from rabbits in that they come out at night. They also have longer ears, longer legs, and they like to run a lot. And so you'll find them at night running around like that. And so that's our scrub hare. And it's not a rabbit. And they will, like I say, be prey for our leopards that we saw earlier. Now, Riley, in terms of how many leopards I've seen at once, I have seen in one sighting 6 different leopards, which is pretty crazy. That is not something that you will see every day, and it certainly is very, 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 very rare. I know of one guy that has seen 7 together, which is also uncommon, but it does happen from time to time. But I have seen 6 together, which is pretty crazy to see. It's an amazing thing to see 6 leopards together. It's not something that we will experience very often at all. Most of the time, if we see leopards together, it's either a mom and her cubs, and normally female leopards at most will have 3 cubs. Sometimes they can have 4 cubs, but it's very, 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 very rare for her to have 4 cubs, and I've never seen a leopard with 4 cubs. So sometimes they can have 3 cubs, and then it's 4 of them, and if you get a male or the dad, then it will be 5 sometimes together that are walking around. But the time that I saw lots was actually 3 different generations that were together. So it was a mom, cubs, her previous cubs, and the dad of those cubs that had mated with her. So that's why I saw so many together. But it's very, very uncommon. It's very special to see 1 leopard, let alone 2. So 6 is crazy. Haley, you're asking if I've ever touched a leopard. Yes, I have, Haley, but not a wild leopard that's awake and alive. A leopard is a very dangerous animal. It's an animal you have to be careful of, and you have to give it a lot of respect, because otherwise it's going to hurt you badly. And it's got very sharp claws, very sharp teeth, and it is a powerful animal. So I've touched a leopard, but it was darted. So they were busy trying to fix it, and it had a snare wound, so it had a piece of wire around its leg that they darted. And then I've also touched a leopard cub before, but never have I touched a live leopard that's awake. That's a recipe for somebody to get hurt, and you'll try and stay away from leopards as much as possible when they're alive, because otherwise you're going to get yourself into big trouble, and you don't want that. I'm just scanning around with my light as I'm driving because I'm trying to spot eyes. I want to see eyes reflecting back at me. It's a lot harder at night to see animals because our eyes don't work very well. A lot of the animals out here, like the leopard, have very good eyesight, and so that's why they like to move at night. But us as people, our eyes are not designed to see in the dark, and so I need a light and to see their eyes reflecting at me to find them. Sophia, the reason leopards are spotted is because they need it for camouflage. So when I say camouflage, it's a way that a leopard will hide away in these bush areas, because a leopard is not very fast. It's not like a cheetah that can run very, very, very quickly. A leopard has got power but not speed, and so it has to sit in wait and it has to ambush predators that come. So it lies there, and as a prey animal comes past it, so it jumps out and grabs them and will then pull them down. So it needs to be able to hide right near an animal, and so you can find leopards will try and hide in thickets, and those spots help to break up its outline, and it makes it blend in where you have shadows and light, because the lighter color part of the leopard matches where the sun's rays are coming from the trees, and then the dark part is like the shade, and a leopard then blends in very well. I don't know if you saw when the leopard walked away from us and it went behind some trees, how well that leopard blended in. It was very difficult for us to see that leopard, and so that's why they have spots, is to hide away from other animals and to make themselves almost invisible so that they can catch prey animals and they can find food. So I'm going to quickly head towards a dead bird that I found today, and I'm wondering if maybe something is going to go and eat that dead bird, like the animal that my friend Jamie is looking for in the Mara. She's got her spotlight out, she's scanning for hyenas. We're going to try find a hyena, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, I've got some wonderful news. I might not have been able to find you tiny cubs, but I have found you some young hyenas. There they go. They're going to run in front of us there. Listen to the lion. Can you hear the lion roaring? And hyenas calling? So there's a lion calling in the distance, and then we've got these little hyenas. They're not tiny babies. They're probably around about 7 or so months old. There's more hyenas calling. And they're just old enough to start moving away from the den and exploring a little bit. Hi, guys. You're going to come say hello. Come say hello. Come say hello. I love hyenas because they're so curious. Yes, you do. Up to no good. Hello. See how curious they are? And off they go. Avi, hyenas are a sort of a brown tannish color with black spots on them, especially when they're young like this. The spots stand out very clearly. So I know you're seeing it in black and white, but they are a fluffy brown color, and then they've got black spots. Wasn't that special? We actually managed to see, not tiny babies, but we did manage to see some hyena cubs, and they are so sweet. We've got lions roaring, we've got hyenas calling. Mainly, hyenas eat meat. They are obligate carnivores, which means they have to eat meat. They can only really eat meat. And hyenas are both scavengers and hunters. So although people always say, oh, hyenas are just such thieves, they always steal from the other predators, yes, they do. But they also hunt for themselves. So they will eat rotten carcasses. They've also got very strong jaws that can crush bone. So whilst the lions and the leopards only eat small bits of bone, hyenas can actually walk up to a big piece of bone and crunch into it and break it open and then eat the bone marrow that's inside. So they make use of all of the animal that is killed by predators. Josie, you want to know if I've ever seen hedgehogs? I have seen hedgehogs, and in fact we saw one the other night, not too far away from our camp at all. They are so cute. We've got the four-toed hedgehog in this particular area, so it's a hedgehog that actually a lot of people have started to keep as pets around the world, which I think is quite sad because hedgehogs are wild. But yes, I have seen hedgehogs. It's so cute. Such cute little faces. They're adorable. Snuffling around looking for insects after the rains. Right, do you think we can find this lion? Quickly before you have to go. I think he's a little bit far, unfortunately. I don't think we're going to find him in time. I'll do my best, but I think he's a bit far. Oh well, I go off in search of the lion. It sounds like Tristan has a very similar idea. Both of us are using our spotlights and both of us are loving being out at night.
We are indeed. It's such a nice feeling what's around. You sit and you're looking and you can't see very far, only where the light shines, and it makes it a little bit more scary to be out here. Oh, look there we go. There's a nocturnal animal that we can see. You see it there, Senzo? There is a bush baby. Now this is a little nocturnal primate, and it is basically like a little monkey that comes out at night. And watch how fast they move. They're very fast. They've got almost spring-loaded legs and they jump all over the place. Now it's going to hopefully jump to another tree for us. There we go. It's going to use these strong legs to jump off to the next tree. And the reason why they jump from tree to tree is because they're looking for food. So these guys eat both insects as well as plant material. Now when I say plant material, I'm talking about sap. Watch it jump. Did you see how far it jumped? Isn't that amazing? There it goes. It's very quick. There it goes again. And they are super fast, and that's what makes them very difficult to film, because they move too quickly and they make our cameraman's lives very difficult to follow. So that was super cool to see. You can see the little tail sticking out at the back. I'm going to try go back, although I think it might jump away from us, but let's try. Senzo, can you see it there? There we go. That's better. Now we can at least have a clear view of it. And like I say, they'll eat plant sap. So what they do is they bite the tree, and then the tree, because it's been bitten, will produce a sugary substance, and that substance is what these guys want to eat. And so they'll bite it, and then tomorrow night they come back to that tree and they come and feed off that sap that is on the tree. And the long tail helps for them to be able to balance when they're jumping around and trying to sort of find their way, and to keep their balance when they try and land on the next tree. And look at how long their back legs are, with big muscles for their size, so that they can jump. There it goes. It's coming back towards us now, which is cool. So its head is just sticking out from behind the tree. And look how big their eyes are. Most of the nocturnal animals will have very big eyes. How cool is that, guys? It looks like a funny animal, doesn't it? It's got big ears, big eyes, and that's because it's out at night, so it needs to see and hear very well to be able to survive out here, because lots of predators that will go after it, from owls to genets, which is like a small cat, and other small cats that are out here, even leopards might try and grab them. But he's being a little shy, hiding behind there at the moment. Difficult to say if it's a female or a male. They're hard to sex because they are so small. We can't see which ones are which. There's no difference between the two. Mainly, you want to know what my favorite animal is? Well, my favorite animal is the two animals we saw just now, which are the leopards. I love leopards. They're my favorite. They are such beautiful animals, and they are so powerful and really are very clever, and they're able to hunt by themselves and look after themselves. Look how quickly it moves. Did you see how fast it moved? It jumps so fast. But our bush baby is busy jumping away and disappearing into the bush, and unfortunately that's all we've got time for this afternoon. I hope that you had a really wonderful time with us this afternoon, that you learnt a lot, and that you're going to go home and tell your parents all about the wild animals that you saw here in Africa, and that you will have a wonderful day at school today and for the rest of the remainder of your day. And so from myself and Jamie and Senzo, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Sunrise Safari.